and welcome back to Mr. Crapshot and the old grey pistol test, and another one of my guns that I have purchased. And of course it is not a blowback. I just had to have a little think then, because I was trying to think which one I've got down here in my hands right now. Well, I can tell you what I've got. I have the Colt 1911 A1 Government in silver and black, full metal all the way down, and a full metal trigger guard and a full metal top. This is not a blowback. This is a button here that should just drop down and show you that the breech is empty. And also on this gun, I can turn it around for you. And where on most blowback pistols there would be a sort of magazine release, this one clips the handle off and allows you to put the gas in. There's no gas in this either. So you can tell from that that the gun is safe for me to handle. I have been told in the past that I haven't really shown too much gun safety. Right, what do I think? It is a very nice gun in the hand. It's got a nice feel to it. It has a couple of safety features for you. The first one being here, which is only on the left-hand side, and it is a simple press down, reveal the red button here. But there's also a further safety when you are shooting. So if you were ready to shoot, indexing your finger, there is a further safety in the palm and under the beaver tail. You may not be able to quite work that out there, but you really do have to grip, and that is like a second safety. Can catch some people out and has caught me out in the past. Now, I'm just going to put the safety back on, because what does it feel like in the hand? Well, it's quite weighty. In fairness, I think it's got a nice feel to it, and I think it's got a nice grip. And there's many, many models of the 1911 out there. BB guns have the blowback on. The 8-ring rotaries, which is one of these, is somewhat different, and it does have the 2-stage with the trigger at the back. But yeah, nice gun, good weight. I talk about the safety. I don't know. It is slightly difficult for me, because you really do have to get your hand up under the beaver tail, right up under the beaver tail, and then when you're grasping it, I take my finger off there, you have to squeeze that second safety. It can be a little bit awkward. Handling wise, it's very nice. You know, sights are all black, which are not the best in the world to talk about, but again, it does fire quite accurately. And yeah, I've have likened this in other videos to one, if you're ever playing golf, where you're on the fringes of the green. Now, that is handling wise. We're going to have a look at how to load the CO2, and we're going to look at how long it takes to load some pellets, and we're going to be looking at the spare costs for that. Then we'll do a bit of shooting, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think about overall and what golf club I think it will be out of my bag. I liken it to golf clubs because I just think it's a little bit easier for you to understand where I'm coming to regarding handling. Yep, nice gun in the hand, nice weighty feel to it. Couple of issues I say that I pick out, one being the squeeze underneath the beaver tail for the second, what I call safety, you know, because if you don't do that and you just literally put your finger on the trigger and pull, it will just put the cock the hammer back if you go on a single action and not fire. So come back and see me in just a moment. This is going to be how to load pellets and, of course, how to load CO2 into the Umarex Colt 1911 A1 Government. Let's start with the 8-ring rotary, which, as you can see, is completely empty. And hopefully, if I can just pick it up, there's a little cog on one side, empty on the other side. You can buy a pack of these, 3 of them, for around about 25 quid. So they're about 8 quid a rotary magazine. You can see that I've already taken the breech back to show you that that is empty, and when you install the rotary magazine, you would literally pop it in there, excuse me, with the cog towards the rear. Not easy to do, upside down and back to front, and then you would shut it back. They don't take very long to load, and they're quite easy to eject as well, if you're as good as I am with the ability to do that. So, the breech is empty, the magazine is empty, and it costs about £8 to buy one. Now on these, you will see at this point here, there is a little button, and this little button here will release the opposite side hand grip to reveal where the CO2 cartridge would go. Now, I'm going to show you how to load it. I'm going to show you how to put the gas in, and you can see my gas there with the blue tape on is pierced and it's empty, and it is known as a dummy. On most blowback pistols, this button here would be the cartridge eject, but it's not on this one here. So by depressing that and pulling the handle off on the rear, we will expose the place for the gas to go in. Now this is a hinged situation. As I say, our gas would then have a little bit of gun oil, and we would place it into the slot, and there's a little ginny wheel here which we would then wind up until the gas bottle was tight, and then in one movement you will just see that this is hinged by that, and it would pierce once shut, and that would be how to load your gas. You would then pop the handle back on like so, put your magazines in, and away you would go. So it's a fairly routine way of doing the CO2. Just take it back out though. Again, reverse procedure, pulling the hinge down without snapping it against your hand underneath the camera, winding the ginny wheel down to such a point that you can then remove the gas. So, where are we? Quite simple to go. My worry with these type of handle grips is that there's a possibility, just a possibility, that you can snap these grips, and that does worry me because they are just a polymer base, and as you can see, when you do it beneath the camera, it is not as easy as it seems. But let's leave it at that. There we go. So there we are. Easy load, around about a minute to load 8 flat-headed pellets. Easy load for the gas. Easy load to put the breech in. And in fairness, a nice gun, which is quite easy for you to get out there and start rattling off a few rounds. Replacement cartridges or magazines, fairly simple to get as well. So for one CO2, I reckon you're getting somewhere in the region of about 8 or 9 8 rings, because the blowback doesn't diminish. There's no blowback on this, so it doesn't diminish the CO2. Jesus, couldn't even see that. That it's a bit high, so I think I've got to be aiming a little bit on the lower side. Better. We'll try one more because I miscounted, so it could be a dry fire coming up. Looks like a dry fire. A bit high. It's a very strange grip with this one because you've got to force the back of your hand into the gun to get the safety off. Well, that fires pretty accurately. Again, one short on that one. So 3 short in 24. So it's only 21 rounds so far. Got to be very sharp on that. There's clear barrel. 2 to go. I like the Beretta's maybe a little bit more easier to use than the Colt 1911, simply because the back of the grip has to be pressed in before you can release the trigger. It's like a double safety, and sometimes you forget. I think that could be last round coming up. It's a nice gun to fire, mind. But it's just getting used to knowing that you've got to get your grip on the back done. Right, last 8 for the firing session on the 24th. As you just saw there, I didn't cut the handle, that was a bit high. Thanks. 2 to end my shooting session. That's it. I think. Safety on. So we're back. This is the gun of the moment, and this is the Colt 1911 A1 government in silver and black. Purchased it second hand. Very nice gun, as I said. What golf club is it? Now, I've gone through most of the golf clubs, and this one is maybe the second most accurate pistol that I own. Okay, and when I say second most accurate pistol that I own, I mean that I think the Beretta M92 FS. You know, if you're on the green, I'm looking at that being my putter. I think I'm going to be pretty good with the 92 FS. Drawbacks with this one, it is really this second safety. It can cost you if you're not squeezing tight. Now that's down to the user. I understand that. That's down to the user. Hand underneath the beaver tail, push in, and then, sorry, just hit that down, and then finger on the trigger, and then it works. I would say that this is, if you're used to golf, my analogy is for golf. If you're on the fringes of the green, some people will pull out a 7-iron and they will putt with a 7-iron to let the ball roll at the face as they use a putting stroke, and it will fly maybe 2 or 3 foot into the air and roll towards the cup. This is my club from the fringes of the green. A little bit of a rescue club, a little bit of a dibber, because I think I'm going to get this within 2 or 3 foot of the cup. I'm going to be almost as accurate as my Beretta, but not quite. But that's where this one comes. For me, I've just got to say that I do like blowback pistols, and this is not a blowback pistol. But the only thing I can say about both my non-blowback pistols, this one, the Government 1911A1, and the Beretta M92FS, is I will keep them in my collection. They are solid guns, good handling, work well on the CO2. A little bit of a problem, I say, with the second safety sometimes for me, but that could be user error more than anything else. But it's a nice gun, and you can see why it's been the mainstay of the 1911 style has been the mainstay for a lot of guns. But yeah, it's not coming out of my collection, and it's one that will stay in my collection. And with the gas, maybe just a little bit fiddly, but there is a little lever arm at the bottom which helps it go up and gives you the puncture. And the pellets really being quite easy to install on an 8-ring rotary, and to buy 3 for somewhat, what is that, about £8 each once you get them, 3 for 25 quid. They're Umarex ones, and they fit both the M92FS and the Colt 1911. It's a nice gun. I will be keeping it in my collection.